So today we're going to take a look at Fnatic versus Sentinels and how Fnatic managed to get their long-awaited revenge. But before we go into the game, there was some weird economical things going on with this game, to where if I told you this, what rank were these players doing this, you probably wouldn't guess pro players, let's just say that. This is something that Fnatic were doing, and they did this over both games, okay? And I do not understand it at all. So if anyone in the comments can give me a reason why this sounds like a good idea, I'm more than happy to hear it out, because I have no idea what Fnatic are doing here, okay? Let's take a look at their second and third round buys, okay? Durka's got a Vandal, Chronicle's got a Bulldog here, Light Shields. We're not focusing on those two. We're focusing on Boaster, Althea, and Leo, because they bought a Marshall and 2 Stingers and Light Shields. Okay, Fnatic going for this Light Shield stuff. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, because I think it could be beneficial. But anyway, just keep your eye on the fact that they have Marshall and Stingers, but for instance, for Boaster and Althea's sake, you know, they could buy, instead of getting a Marshall, they could get a Guardian, or Althea could get a Bulldog, right? They have enough money to do that if they wanted to. But now let's take a look at their third round buy. Because here we can see that no one on Sentinels has a kill yet, right? No one of Fnatic has died, so they won that second round flawlessly. No one died. But if we take a look at what guns they then bought, let's take a look now, because you'll see the Boaster, Althea, and Leo now have rifles, right? Chronicle's still got his Bulldog, Durka's still got his Vandal, but the other three have now bought rifles. And what that means is, if we take a look at the creds that they have left, well, now they don't have enough creds if they lose this next round, right? They don't have the creds to rebuy for that fourth round if they need to. So there's just a Marshall and 2 Stingers sitting in spawn. But they just used and bought those guns for one round to use them against just pistols, and then bought rifles. But why? Aren't we just, like, straight burning credits? Like, why did we need, like, why? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get what, like, I don't mind being aggressive in the third round necessarily, but there's way better ways of doing this. Where, I mean, there's ways you can do this and then still buy in the next round and have this kind of buy. You know, FPX, now Navi, do it all the time. I really, really don't understand why they did this. But now let's get into the actual rounds where Fnatic were very good. And we'll start here with round number 7, although this one does have a bit of good and bad. I like the initial idea by Fnatic here. What we're going to get is a stun down here. Durka's going to run up just there. Boaster's actually going to come up from short as well. We're going to get a Sova Dart back here, and then we're going to Sova ult as well. Nice little set play here from Fnatic, and, well, it doesn't actually go, you know, as they would wish. You see Durka, you know, comes up here, he sends in the smokes, you know, these guys get revealed, but unfortunately for him, Zekken does not get revealed, and Zekken is ultimately the one that gets that kill. And then Boaster, you know, he's trying to, like, make the most of this Sova ult still and, you know, kind of be the second layer to this, but unfortunately the alarm bot spots him as well, so he kind of has to back off there. Now, Boaster does manage to get a kill. Maybe Zekken, you know, getting a bit too hungry for this kill at this moment. So Boaster is able to get one, but then does get traded there. And so we're in a 4v3. This is a good spot for Sentinels still, you know, and the round is kind of off to a crazy start. And so Sentinels decide, okay, well, let's just come in towards C. You got Def here destroying the alarm bot, and the rest of Sentinels are coming down C long. There will be some jitters in this, by the way, because that's just how, you know, it was yesterday. So if there is little jitters and whatnot, know that it's not your computer or anything like that. It's just how it was recorded. But yeah, down come Sentinels, and honestly, when Althea missed this shot, I was kind of like, oh, that was their chance, right? That was their way back in. That's probably a shot that Althea, you know, would probably hope to hit most of the time, but he can't quite. But he does still just lurk around here, get into a spot where he's able to kill Def just there. We end up in a 3v3, but this is what I love from Fnatic here, right? Because we've got the rotates in, we've sent in the start, we're about to send in the drone as well, and then because we got all 3 players here, and this dart is going to scan too, they, you know, have a pretty good idea that everyone's here, so they're just going to breach ult them fast, right? And just, like, you know, just blitz on Sentinels before they're really ready for it. So there you go, the dart gets 2 there, and in we go, right? We're just going to come in and try and destroy them. We get the kill there, and 2 of Sentinels do manage to kind of escape a bit, you know, Sassy gives Pancata the spike so he can go TP across, but it's good from Fnatic again to get the stun down there. They get the shock darts in there, and Sassy dies as well. Pancata TPs across to the other side of the map. This is where we're going to get the bad part of the Fnatic, right? That little retake there was really, really cool, really good stuff, but Pancata, when he's planting the spike here, I mean, in this situation, right, where an Omen has TP'd across the map, we're in a 3v1, you know, we're all gonna go different ways here. I don't love that to start off with, right? Because it just means the likelihood of being isolated as a 1 is you know, pretty good chance, right? In a 3v1, this guy probably is going to push one of these ways. And so by all splitting up, I didn't love that, you know, because the spike has just gone down. We got more than enough time, right? Just come together, right? But I do like what Pancada does here, right? Because he's gonna smoke off both of these kind of interesting areas to smoke, right? And that obviously threatens for these guys when they come around this corner and see these smokes. Like, this threatens a lot, these two smokes, because obviously now he, you know, could be in this smoke. He could have come to this corner. He could be in this smoke. He could have come to heaven, right? He obviously could still be on the site. He could come down short or long, right? So there's a lot of things he can now do with these little smokes in there, and that's going to really delay these guys. But this is kind of the problem with, like, everyone going off on their own is, you know, if there's 3 of you, you probably feel more confident in, you know, going to this together. But when, you know, it's just 1 of you, yeah, we're gonna get delayed. We're gonna end up staying behind it, and so Leo is, you know, gonna end up walking into a fight. Pancada, you know, gets 1 kill there. Now Chronicle is just gonna lose his mind a bit. Like, we know where he is, right? Okay, he's in short. We know that. Just all you gotta do is wait, right? All you gotta do is wait. Instead, he, you know, just tries to end the round now, and dies. And so we end up in a 1v1, and all of a sudden it's very tough here for Alfia, but he manages to play well enough to where he will win the round. He does get flashed there, but Pancada just trying to wait it out, but Alfia ultimately will manage to get the kill there and win the round for Fnatic. Now let's come to round number 11 and focus on this round here from Sentinels, which I don't mind the idea, but the execution of the idea just seems kind of weird. This is kind of an Aztec sacrifice. You know, we don't like Aztec sacrifices here on this channel, where, you know, these 4 are just basically going to do a C exec. You know, we're going to get an Omen ult in the back of C. We're going to get, you know, dog, stuns, all of that stuff, right? But Tenz, his role is to come up here, dash through garage, run up here, and I guess to come and pinch on this C site. I think that that's the general idea of this. But Tenz is going to get no supporting utility whatsoever, right? Just literally not. It's just going to be Tenz. And I know, you know, it's Tenz, but, you know, give my man some help. You know, give him something, right? This is just a suicide mission, as you'll see in just a second. So everything else is, like, just catered towards this C site, right? We send the dog in here. We're going to send the stun in here on Durka. And as Tenz is now, you know, dashing across, and so he gets into this deep position. Durka dashes away, but there's so many things for Tenz to worry about, right? You just saw it there, him looking over here. You know, there's nothing here supporting him. So, you know, if someone is rotating across from here or about to come down here, or there's 2 people here now coming this way as they push them off the site, like, you know, and we've gone for the normal smokes as well. Like, surely if our goal is for Tenz to, like, come and wrap around, you know, wouldn't we be better off with, like, a smoke there to help him, right? To help him wrap around. You know, if this is our goal, you know, again, couldn't we be helping him, you know, with stuns, you know, just something like down there, or even, you know, come and help him here with, you know, maybe the breach comes with him, right, and flashes this wall for him, or just anything, you know, just anything to help, anything whatsoever, because there's so many ways in my mind that this could go wrong, right? There's a ton of ways that this could go wrong for Tenz, and honestly, you know, he does well to even get this far, I think, but ultimately he dies there because there's 2 people there. And now we're just in a 4v5. Yeah, we got the site, but, you know, I always say this, right? It's not worth... Sacrificing someone is never worth to get the spike down, right? It's just not. Unless, like, the time is super low and you're going to lose the round anyway. Durka manages to get a kill with an op just there. And, you know, this isn't maybe going to be Fnatic's, you know, cleanest retake ever, but it's good enough in a 5v3 to ultimately win the round. As the Dark comes in, the Astral comes in, and you think, like, that's the moment that they're going to flood in onto the site, but there's a bit of delay here from Fnatic. I'm not quite sure why, right, as they send the Dart and the Astral in. So ends up, like, a bit muddled where, you know, Alfia kind of, you know, is a bit alone there, and Sentinels actually managed to get back to a 3v3, but Leo does manage to get one back on Sassy. Good hold there from Durka, and ultimately we end up with Boaster finished it off there on second, and Fnatic would win the round. Now let's come to teams playing the Economy Weird Part 2. This time we have Sentinels as our player. And yeah, this one, again, you wouldn't know what rank this was if I just showed you to it blind. But it's actually a pro game. But we're in the 3rd round here, okay? Sentinels have won the pistol and they've won the bonus. Some people died. And so we've ended up in this spot here where Tenz, you can see, has an absolute boatload of cash. Okay, he's got a boatload of cash and he's still got his Marshall. Pancata is deciding to force, right? So he's gone for a Bulldog here, full shields, and he's down to 0. Def has done the same thing where he's got a rifle, he's down to 100, and then we've got these two players who are kind of, in a more normal spot, let's say. So we're kind of a bit up and down all over the place. I would normally say, if we're doing this, we're probably better off just, I know I talked about dropping the Marshall before, but if this is our call, Tenz probably is better off here as well, because as we go to the next round, you'll see it ends up after they lose this round, Sentinels, in a pretty bad spot. Because this is our buy in the next round where Tenz, he gets that up. So, Tenz is nice and happy. Sassy and Zekken, hey, they've got rifles. But Pancata and Def, the two that forced last round, we got a Sheriff Lights and a Stinger Lights. And look, maybe on attack side, this can actually work, right? Because on attack side, you can kind of determine who takes the first fights, right? You can kind of send someone in first, so you could give your rifle or your op to a player that, you want to take that fight first, and then if they die, you can pick up their gun. But on defense side, you kind of don't have that luxury nearly as much, right? So, I mean, we're in a bad spot, and then they kind of get punished for this as well. What's perhaps even more annoying is that Def found himself in a 2v5 with that rifle, and instead of saving it, decided to, still try and push and try and find a kill, and he's ended up with a stinger. So maybe that's even worse, right? And it was 9-5. We didn't have to go for it. I don't hate if you want to go for it, but, get your second buys in order so that you are feeling like you're going to go for it, right? Buy that Bulldog on the second round, that Guardian, whatever it is, instead of, a Marshall for Tenz or whatnot, right? Like, just get your house in order kind of thing. And guess what happens? They get punished for it, right? Because guess what happens? So Fnatic, they go for a massive C exec, just straight away on Pancata, who has only a Sheriff. So what's he going to do here, really? So he has to just retreat, and now we're just, we have to give up the site. Bad plans, we get punished for it, and then we end up in this 5v5 retake, and Chronicle here is going to get rewarded for playing good Valorant, okay? Because what's about to happen is, as Sentinels kind of group up here and get ready for this retake, they're going to come in and send out the Skydog in just a second as they start to go for it. Going to get a little jitter there, and Boaster's going to shoot the dog, right? And probably, they had a decent idea that someone might be here, and so Boaster's going to get stunned. Chronicle does a really, really nice thing, though, where he, as Sentinels try and come up and, kill Boaster, knowing that, someone's here, he's going to come out, get down Mr. President, and save Boaster's life. You see him start to swing there. He managed to get not 1, but 2, and now the Valorant gods decide, good Valorant Chronicle, here you go, here's 2 free ones, and he gets a 4K and another nice round by Fnatic. And then ultimately, it would come down to round number 19 here. And again, Fnatic are just going to go for this very, very quick little C exec here. And we're going to get a full 5v5 retake again. So in come Fnatic, right? In they come. And they get the site. And, well, we're playing retake here for Sentinels because we have this Killjoy lockdown, right? So we put down the Killjoy lockdown in just a second, just there. And we're going to put this Killjoy lock down here, which is a pretty normal spot for it to go, right? Nice, covers all the site, going to push them all the way back. The only problem is that Fnatic have a Sovereign, right? So again, when we're thinking about round plannings, and the thing is, where we've put this Killjoy lockdown, and we, can probably assume that a Sovereign is going to be coming from, either in here or somewhere back here, right? Like, this is where the Sovereign is going to come from if they're going to use it to destroy this lockdown. And so we've got to know that, okay, this Sovereign here, again, we're giving them a god tier Sovereign, because not only are they going to destroy this lockdown, but because the Sovereign is coming in here, again, it's also going to stop our, fast retake. And so you're going to see, Zekken, who's over here, kind of ends up, unimpeded by the line of the Sovereign. He's going to end up way on the site, whilst everyone else is kind of, just tiptoeing in onto it. Because we've kind of given them a god tier Sovereign. And you'll see just here on the map, if we just watch if you just watch Tenz here, right? He's gonna go forward. Oh, go back, right? But look, Zekken's already out, right? So Zekken's already starting this retake. He's already way in onto the site. But everyone else has had to kind of go, oh, don't want to get hit by the Sovereign, which is fair enough. And so again, I mean, honestly, we probably would be in a better spot here for Sentinels if we didn't even use it in that position, right? They probably would have had a better retake, to be honest, because Def has taken the time to put it down, and now he's not in position to get there either. These two have been delayed because they've had to take a step back, so Zekken's ended up way out onto the site on his own, right? So I mean, just little things like this, though, I think as we get forward with Valorant, you know, these are the things that we got to be thinking about, right? Like, I know it's last round, right? But as I said, I actually feel like by putting that ult there, you know, they actually decrease the chances of them winning this round here, Sentinels. And Sassy ends up in a 1v3, and ultimately, what we'll see here is that he isn't going to be able to win the 1v3. As it's very tough, and Durka, he somehow actually manages to get this kill on Durka. But overall, I think Fnatic, yeah, they played a pretty solid game. And Sentinels, you can clearly tell, yeah, new team, still a lot to work on. You know, probably need a bit more time to make it work, as Fnatic get their long-awaited revenge.